Reason we back with another video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload. Let's get right to it. Let's go.
In this video, we're going to see Joy Reid, the former host of her own show on MSNBC, absolutely torch Jake Tapper for holding on to very important information instead of being a journalist and releasing it out to the public in real time. As usual, let's watch the video in full, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts towards the end.
Did you read The Original Sin by Jake Tapper?
I did not.
I wonder what you thought about that book because, you know, I read it and I thought it's going to make a great miniseries one day, right? But, you know, for me, it's like the one thing I was missing from the book was accountability from corporate media. It's like, Jake, you sat there for years and watched the same things that we all saw with our eyes and probably had a better view because you probably saw them up close and personal, but never told anybody that. But now you want to sell it in a book. What do you think about that?
And that's why I didn't read it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to read it because, number one, I think that Joe Biden is not relevant anymore. And I think that all that book did was reveal what you just said, is that you have a nightly news show. So you 5 nights a week could tell us what you know. But you know something, and you're like, this is so juicy, I'm going to hold it for a book, really? Woodward did that. Bob Woodward had an interview with Donald Trump in February of 2020 in which Donald Trump said, yeah, I don't know, that COVID is airborne. You didn't feel like you had to tell us that, super journalist, to expose Richard Nixon? You didn't think it maybe was helpful? Maybe 1 million people wouldn't be dead if you had done your job as a journalist. So I am not in the, you know, everybody lauds this man as this great journalist. If you're a great journalist, tell us what you know, like right now. When you know it, tell us. And then with Jake Tapper, you're on, dude, you had the same job I did. You were on TV 5 nights a week. If you saw that this man was declining, maybe say that. You know, don't put it in a book.
It might have forced the party to do something a whole lot sooner.
Think about it. I mean, we're talking about, and we both know this, there were people like almost physically fighting Joe Biden to have him get out of the race in the summer of 2024.
That's right.
If a year before that, if in the summer of 2023, there had been credible information out that there was no way that he could even physically continue as president then, let alone run again, think about the different world we would live in had that happened a year earlier and there had been a primary, let's say Kamala won, that she fought through a primary with Gavin in it and with all of their stars in it that they wanted to be in a primary. Not at the end when it was too late, when it had to be her, because otherwise all the black voters would have been like, sorry, no. Right. But you're talking about we would have had a year earlier to maybe not be in this hell that we're in right now. And journalists have to take some responsibility for that. If I had had information, I promise you, if I had had information like that in 2023, it would have been on the readout, like every night.
That's why I think it is relevant to talk about Biden. Because, you know, I don't know how much blame to put on him, but a lot of this is because he chose to run for a second term.
I agree. I think a lot of it is his fault. And I think the ego involved in deciding my ambition to remain president is more important than the threat I'm saying is existential. So if I'm saying Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy, it's incongruent for me to then say, I think I'm the best person to stop that threat. If I'm just being objective about myself, like, look, I have this fan in here because I'm all in perimenopause. So I recognize when I tell you this fan, I know my limitations. You know what I mean? I remember doing one of those back, you know, you do a sort of an off the record with you know, these leaders. And I did one with a very, very, very senior Democrat who I will not name, who knows Joe Biden very, very well, who said that they don't think they could do the job that he's doing at their age. And they're like 20 years younger than him. Wow. And so the reality is people had doubt about him running. I definitely did. And I also had issues with morally, you know, him remaining in the race because I think his policies in Gaza were immoral. I think they were a moral disaster. I think they are the stain on his legacy. And so I had a lot of issues with Joe Biden, to the point where we couldn't get Joe Biden or his people to come on our show anymore because I was so critical of him on air. But yeah, I think that it had people had another year to play this out, I think Democrats would have absolutely pushed it and forced him to not run.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
You had
So that's really quite interesting perspective and point of view from Joe Reid, and this is something that I even thought about when Jake Tapper started to come out with his book and talk to people about what the actual book is about. Now, what's interesting to me is that Jake Tapper tried to put this across in a way where he was releasing this information now at this point, plain and simply because it was his moral duty to do it and it was the right thing to do. But let's just be 100% honest. Jake Tapper done this purely for monetary purposes. That's exactly the reason as to why, because like Joe Reid said in the video, he's known this information for a very long time and he's held on to this information for an extremely long time as well. And what he's done is, instead of in real time letting his audience and letting the American public know about Joe Biden's mental decline, he held on to this information and said, you know what, I'm going to put this in a book and then I'm going to sell it to the public. And he's tried to smooth things over by telling people and putting it out there that he looks back at his time with humility because he should have done it a better way. But the reality is this: the damage is already done. The damage is already done. If we knew this information a long time ago, certain things could have been put in place to get Joe Biden to move aside to allow somebody else to be able to run up against Donald Trump. Because let's have it right, Donald Trump was beatable in this election. He was beatable. As much as people want Donald Trump, and a lot of people in MAGA and on the right, they try and make it like it was some sort of landslide. It wasn't. It wasn't a landslide at all. Donald Trump was beatable in this election. But because of the fact that there was so many delays in Joe Biden moving aside, no action was actually taken. And as a result of that, Democrats actually went on to lose that the election. And that's crazy. That is crazy stuff. Jake Tapper should have done the right thing and released the information as soon as he had it. Now, the reality for me overall when it comes to this clip and Joe Reid really unloading on Jake Tapper and speaking the truth, especially from a journalistic ethics standpoint, this is something that needs to be discussed about in a lot more depth. The media have a job to be extremely transparent with the people, and accountability is something that needs to be taken serious with the job or the role of being a media personality. One of the things that I've heard about the media in the Middle East is they can't just go on TV and hide things and tell a lot of lies, which is something that I see with a lot of the media in the West, not just in America, but even right here in the UK. A lot of the media in the West, they struggle with this sort of stuff. They really do struggle with it, plain and simply because they don't cover the things that they're meant to, or the way that they're meant to, or they'll just cover it in a way that is biased towards them. But as usual, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this clip of Joe Reid and even Charlamagne the God of The Breakfast Club torching Jake Tapper.
I agree with the guy. Shout out to this channel that I'm reacting to, but I agree with this guy, man. That's why they try to ban TikTok. Every time I go on TikTok, I get updated on what's going on in the world that nobody else would even know about, because all this stuff is going on. There's a lot of stuff under the rug that is going on in the news that we don't even know. And sometimes I want to react about it on this channel, but I just don't. But you'll be shocked on how much stuff I know based off TikTok, what's going on in this world in general. It's insane, man. And that was, and I'm only reason I'm talking about TikTok and news and stuff is because obviously he said they not updating like all these news outlets and I forgot what you call them people, the people that do reports and stuff. They don't be updating on. They just be hiding stuff. You might as well update us. Let us know what's going on in the world. But that's how media is. That's how the government is. They either won't update us or they'll just tell us lies. It's insane. But yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe on the channel. Hit a make sure you comment. Make sure you comment. It's very important to comment and like, y'all. It helps my viewer count out if y'all care. so I can keep being motivated to put out these videos. And also subscribe to this channel. I'm gonna like this channel. I'm also subscribed. Cause he did an amazing job with describing what's going on in this video, y'all. But I got way more videos to do. I love you. I ain't gonna talk your head off. Peace and love, baby. We out.